Hello, friends. The month of July flew by, and I only read 4 books. They were good quality books, and spoiler alert, I recommend all of them. In July, we also started our home remodel, and we had been saving for this remodel for the past 4 years, I want to say. We had been saving and planning for it. So I will have footage. I was gonna add it to the end of this vlog or this video, but I think I'm just gonna do a video on its own, like a small little like before video of what our kitchen, entryway, hallway, and living room all look like. And then I might be updating in like a reading vlog or something like that. And then of course I'll have like the end. Um, yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that, I think, because I do want to give it its own place on my channel, because it is something that I'm probably going to want to look back at, and I don't want it really necessarily attached to a reading wrap-up video for the month of July. But anyways, that is why I have not read that much, because we got busy, but it's okay. These books I'm also probably not going to show, most likely, because they are already packed. Part of the work that they're doing is in my library room, so I had to pack my books. So they're packed, but I will pop up a picture somewhere on the screen of the books. But let's just get started. The first book that I read was Finley Donovan Knocks Them Dead by El Casimano. This is book 2 in the Finley Donovan world. And in this book, we are following Finley and Vero. And let me tell you, it was a good time. A stressful one, but a good time nonetheless. This book picks up right where we left off in the first one. And let me tell you, the stakes were high from the beginning, because it literally picks up with that plot twist / cliffhanger from the first book. Hanging out with all the characters from the first book was comforting, and then we also get to meet new characters and we get to know more of the background of other characters, and it's just good. We get to expand on the world that we jumped into in the first book. Things do get messier as Finley tries to write another book so she can make a living for her and her 2 children. And she also has to keep someone alive while keeping the secrets from the first book. And to make things more complicated, as if keeping somebody alive is not complicated enough already, she's trying to figure out her romantic life. You can expect a fast-paced story with funny, likable characters, mysterious adventures with plot twists at every corner. I recommend this book if you want to have a good read after a busy day at work. This is one where you do suspend a lot of reality, but it's good. It's worth it. I can totally also see this book being like a CW show, because there's like drama, but then there's like humor, and then there's high stakes, but then you are rooting for most of them. So yeah, it's just a hot mess, but I love it. The next book that I read is Defiant by Brandon Sanderson. What can I say about this book? Actually nothing, mainly nothing, because it is the 4th book in the series. It's actually the last book in the series. But what I can share is that I finally read it after saying I was going to read it pretty much for the entirety of this year. I finally read it, so yay! Cue the confetti. Just kidding. I don't know how to do that. So just imagine confetti and like all that. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the series. What else? I want to say so much, but I can't because it would be spoilery. And there's so many books because it's the 4 main books, including this one, and then 3 novellas in between the books. So it's a lot of books to, talk about in the sense of not giving spoilers. So there's not much I can share except for if you really want to get your toes into Brandon Sanderson and how he writes, and you know, how he built his worlds, and how he talks about complex feelings, complex scenarios, just complexity of life. I highly suggest this one because it is a YA, so it is a little bit faster pace. Although all his books are fast, actually, but this is a faster pace one, and it still deals with a lot of complex things. Mbot, the Slugs, and Hesho will always, always, always have a special place in my heart. And yeah, I just thought that this book wrapped up things nicely. It was still, like I said, there were a lot of complex feelings within the characters and all that, but I still think that Brandon Sanderson is a master at his craft, and he tied it up really, really well. So it still gave you that that warm feeling, but you know that it's still like there's still work for them to do, if that makes sense. I'm sad that it's done, you know. There are other books that will be written within the same world, but they're not going to be written by Brandon Sanderson. I will probably pick them up just because, again, I love this world. But yeah, it's not going to be part of like Brandon Sanderson's work, if that makes sense. And the last book that I read in the month of July was, surprise, Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun, again by El Casimano. Yes, I did read 2 Finley Donovan books in 1 month. I started the month with one and I ended the month with one. So there's that. Off the bat, this one did have a different vibe for me. The first 2 books were connected in the sense that the characters carried over from like the first book to the, you know, the second book. They did also feel, not that they were standalone, because like I said earlier in this video, book 2 picks up right where book 1 ended, but it's still it was still like separate storylines in a way. But book 3 starts off with even higher stakes and a lot more problems. All the plot holes that seem to be plot holes in the first 2 books, they actually get brought up in this book. And when I tell you the intensity level went from like here to here, I'm not exaggerating. It was intense. El Casimano just interwound the storylines and all the pieces, like the missing pieces, so well. I was not expecting it. Not that, you know, because I don't expect good things, because I do, but I don't know, it just kind of hit me out of nowhere because, like I said, the first 2 books were kind of similar in the storyline, but different storylines. And this one just kind of combined everything and just made it way more intense. The same humor that is in the first 2 is also in this one. But I was on the edge of my seat for most, if not the entire book. I do recommend the series, El Casimano. Thank you for this world. Yeah, it's just great. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but I am reading the recent, the 4th book in the series. I believe there's going to be 5 books, and this was recently published earlier this year, so I'm already reading it. So it's good. It's good, guys. I highly recommend the series if you just want to have a good time, but it's still intense, you know. But the characters are also so likable, and it's just a hot mess. I would like to know what you guys read for July or earlier this year. It doesn't have to be necessarily a month, but if there's a book that is still on your mind that you have read this year and you still keep thinking about it, I would love to know what that book is down in the comments, because I'm always looking for books that leave a lasting impression. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, a great week, and a great month. Yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye.